Hi, greetings, surviving humans. This is my trans refugee vlog. Coming to you from windy, cold San Francisco. Gonna talk a little bit about the weather, about the human progress, about the cat progress. Said he is actually using his litter box now. He's officially made it his, and he's continuing to use it, and that's fantastic. I'm also going to talk about feelings, lots and lots of feelings. So, first let's talk about the weather. There is a quote attributed to Mark Twain. The coldest winter I ever spent is summer in San Francisco. Nope, he never said that actually. And I read on Snopes that the closest thing that can be identified as where that came from is in Mark Twain's letters, when he was speaking about a conversation he had with somebody who said something somewhat similar, probably about Paris. But hey, this is city the worst. Yeah, this is my little black shit over here. Love him to death. So I guess first I'll talk about the cat progress, because here he is in all his tail's glory. So he is in a stage where he is exploring. I've been here for 4 days. Tomorrow will be the 5th day. And the cats were somewhat aggressive toward each other at first. They were in a kind of attack defend mode, but then but now within the course of 5 days they're pretty well able to be near each other without having big reactions. Today I was laying in bed with Seti next to me, and I don't want to name cats. I don't want to reveal the identity of my host. Another cat that's affectionate to the point of being invasive was in a computer chair right over here, laying down, and they were a little further away than my arms, and they were both laying down and being calm. And so that's a huge amount of progress for the kitties. Unfortunately, Seti is not eating like he should. He'll sometimes, maybe occasionally, nibble his food. I think he's at a point where he's still very nervous. He's still exploring, and he's still learning what territory is his, and he's still spending most of the time under the bed. But it's under my bed rather than under the host's bed, which it was really hard getting him out from under there and coaxing him out into the rest of the house. I do human progress. I want to put some kind of picture, a couple of pictures up here on this bulletin board, but that's gonna be a minute. So I'm getting my mail forwarded in 7 to 10 business days. I got that process done. So there's a close by bus stop, and I'm going to start tomorrow morning, learning about the public transit around here and using the bus. There we go. There's Seti. There's Seti the worst. Yeah, he's walking around the nightstand wondering what he's gonna do. He's awake and in an exploring mood. So, eat your food, City. Go eat some food. So, yeah, so tomorrow I'm going to start learning about the public transit system here, just for going a very short ways to a shopping center. And I changed my cell phone account to a different account, but now that I have my mailing address changed, my next step is to get a bank account, and my extremely generous host is going to put money in it month to month. I don't know how much. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's see, and then the next step is to get a state ID. I would like to stay a resident of this state because I understand social services are much more robust and much more accessible, and I will need them. Also, my host was generous enough to get me pants that are similar to this, where they're just very comfy, so I can sleep in them, walk around the house, whatever. When I left the house, I had to leave very quickly, and I had to do things in secret. It was an escape. It wasn't any sort of like, oh, my family supports me, but I got to get out of Georgia. It was, my family is abusive. Also, I got to get out of Georgia. So, I didn't think I'd be this far west. I'm not going to give you the specifics, but I am very, very far west. I never thought I'd be this far west. It's freaking amazing. If I do move out of state, I'm thinking I'll move to Nevada because I love the desert, but I would like to stay in this state if I could. Or I may go all the way back to the East Coast, but of course to the Northeast, like Connecticut or Massachusetts, something like that, because I have a very good friend that lives out there. I have a person who is going to help me continue the process of getting on disability. I did call them and updated them with my new address. Okay, yeah, so, I also have been looking at doctors. There's a lot of doctors close to here. I'm going to need a lot of doctors. I got a lot of shit wrong with me. I'm applying to disability for a reason. As per my request, my host is getting me an inexpensive white cane. Yes, the kind for blind people. I am visually impaired, and now I think I'm at a point where I need a cane, especially in a new city, and curbs aren't always clearly marked. So, yeah, especially a very very hilly city, and it's a new city. And also, like I said, I have to learn about the public transit system, which here it seems really good. Buses are running either on the half hour every 15 minutes, which is amazing compared to what I'm used to, because north of Atlanta, the public transit is horrible enough to be nigh unusable. The bus stop there was 2 miles away from the house, and there was no sidewalks, and it was just kind of overgrown, and a bus might arrive every hour on the hour. And when I was working to get to work, I would have had to maybe get up at like 8:30 in the morning or whatever, and I would have had to switch buses just for a bus in town, because I work in town. Yeah, big mess. But here, at least, to go to the nearest grocery store, if I take a bus, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. So it'll be interesting if, it'll be interesting, and I'm sure there are YouTube videos about how to use a white cane and shit like that. and it's foldable, so I can put it in my bag, and I won't need it all the time because I don't need it all the time. But yeah, sometimes I'll need it and use it. Okay, feeling. Let's see, talked about the weather, talked about the cats, talked about the human progress. Oh, my family. My family is so strange. It's sad. I didn't know what to say to my abusive family my family of origin, when I left. So, because I didn't want to say anything terribly ingratiating, because I didn't want to look like, I didn't want to give them inroads. Like, I didn't want to give my mother inroads to Hoover, but I didn't want to say, fuck you, eat a dick, pound sand, die in a fire, anything like that. So I said, so long and thanks for all the fish when I walked out. So I don't know, I scored some nerd points somewhere. So once I learn more about the public transit, and I can find, like, Monday I have a telehealth appointment with a therapist, my old therapist who's in Georgia, obviously, but it's telehealth. And given my insurance, I'm not going to pay for it. But yeah, I have a very generous host, and so yeah, getting a bank account, getting a state ID card, still working on getting disability, of course. I think moving is probably gonna set the progress back, because then I gotta update them with entirely new doctors, and I need a lot of doctors. Yeah. So, but right now I do have health insurance, but eventually I'm gonna have to get on Medi-Cal. Oh, and I also, once I need to become a resident, officially, legally a resident of the state, so I can get on food stamps. So I'm not mooching off my host for food. Yeah, my food will be my food, and I certainly don't mind using it to pay for other people's food, and like getting a container of ice cream for everybody, or getting a case of Cokes or something for everyone. I don't know. Of course, I don't like soda. I'm not a big fan of syrup. But yeah, feelings. Okay, feelings are weird. It's like, in a way, I'm extremely happy, and I probably don't look like I'm expressing it like ever. I'm either, I've broke down crying a couple of times, but it wasn't for missing my family of origin. It wasn't for missing my stuff. I did kind of start missing my dice collection when talking about role-playing. However, even that, I didn't cry over it. What I have cried over is missing all the green things. Missing all the nature, missing all the trees. Yes, even the humidity. Missing the katydids. Georgia dusk is so wonderful. Yes, the humidity is often choking at night during the summer, but I still miss it. It's part of the character of the place. The air is very thick and wet, dewy, and it smells. The air itself smells like dirt. It smells like biomass. It smells like fertility. Whatever fertility smells like, it is that smell. The air itself has life in it. I swear, it's just a gorgeous wonderful, rich smell. I don't smell that here. And I love the view from outside my window, but the view is a lot more metropolitan, a lot less green. So I will not experience the peace of Georgia at dusk. I will not be able to look beyond the blue, beyond the deep blue of the horizon, and look up into the eternal blackness of night and see the stars. I will not be able to lose myself in a thicket of trees. I will not be able to bounce around at night in a sleeveless shirt and shorts and bare feet and still relish the mercy of a cool breeze. Good boy, Seti. Seti's eating. Good boy. So I have lots of feelings. Also, I've said on Facebook, and I think this is a very excellent way of putting it, I no longer feel like I'm a prey animal on the African savannah. And that's wonderful. I'm not walking around the house with my lower back muscles extremely tense because I'm afraid of my family anymore. I'm not with them anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. But there's a whole lot of emotions. Like, I'm very good at being afraid later, being sad later. I'm very good at being in survival mode. Now I'm not in survival mode, and there's a dozen feelings racing to, it's like they're racing and trying to beat each other to whatever opening there may be, and yet I'm finding there is none. There has been times where I've been on the verge of tears and I'm like, okay, I'm alone, I can cry now, it's okay. And I can't. I just won't. And it's not because I'm holding it in. Like, sometimes if you don't want to cry during a movie because you're embarrassed, or maybe you had a death in the family recently but you're at work and you don't want to cry, and you maybe swallow it or take deep breaths, or you hold it in maybe, but I'm not consciously holding anything in. I just find myself not allowing it to surface fully. There's old anger, old rage, there's old sorrow, there's complete elation at the fact that I'm finally free, and yet I cannot feel it in a way. I feel that it's there without actually feeling it, and it's weird. So I finished an audiobook called Wayward. It's about a woman's experience growing up in Christian fundamentalism, in this charismatic evangelical Christian family that was really bizarre and went around the country and lived off everyone's charity because they were just kind of trusting God. And her background was, I'm sure, very difficult to say the least, but it's a very good book. Wayward, I highly recommend it. Then I started Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses. It's very well written, very descriptive, very weird. I don't know if I'd recommend it. I don't know. I'm only in the second chapter. I don't know if I enjoy it. It's just really weird. But it's a classic, especially for atheists. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm about to head to bed. So I wanted to get into that. And going back on feelings, for the past week or so, I haven't been an atheist anymore because, well, I'm not rational right now. I feel a lot of feelings about a lot of things. Lots of, events. I feel like if I go back to theism, I'm not giving the humans credit, the humans who have helped me. However, also it's like I see events that are, I don't know what you're doing, Seti. I think he's scratching a wall. I see events that look very uncanny to me, and in my excitement, in my emotion, I start believing again. Seti, I don't know what you're doing, but stop it. So, I'm very happy with the way things are going so far. I'm very optimistic, but everything's weird. I have a therapy appointment with telehealth Monday morning, 10 p.m. Nobody else is going to be in the house. I'm tired of doing social shit. I really, really, really want that bank account because there are some things that I want. I want super glue to glue something together. I want a couple more belts. I want a couple more simple pairs of pants. I want a cheap webcam. There's a lot of things that I want. Yeah. And webcams now are pretty damn cheap. So. Yep, Year Their Lord, 2023 CE. United States, California, near the West Coast. Trans refugee. It's weird out here. Not out here as in California. This country's getting weird. Yes, there are a lot of anti-trans bills, but Republicans are starting to lean into fascism, and they're denying climate change, while climate change is getting worse. And I'm literally in a state that is sitting in pretty well permanent drought conditions. Yeah, so it's getting weird. So I'm getting tired. I was gonna say, speaking of which, when I am not hiding from daily screaming matches, it is so much easier to get my ass out of bed in the morning, even when I've had muscle relaxers. Even when I go back to bed, it's much easier to just not necessarily sleep, but just lay around with my kitty or something and say, okay, I'm done doing that, and then get back up and do something useful. I don't know, dishes or something. I've been doing a lot of dishes. I did some cooking, some rather shameful cooking. I have a dish, tuna macaroni and peas. I make it all the time for myself because it takes 15-20 minutes tops, and it's a good hearty meal, and it's a good combination. I fucked up cooking Kraft macaroni and cheese. As soon as I serve it to other people, I fuck it up. No, but I'm not going to get too loud, too animated. Because people are sleeping. Okay, well, like I always say, follow the Raven's Rook.